Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the MLB slate on DraftKings and Yahoo for Tuesday, July the 23rd. We got the full 15 for Tuesday today, full 15 game slate. A ton of pitching options at the top that we're going to need to talk about. On DraftKings right now, we got 5 guys over 10K. There's a ton of guys under 10K that have a lot of upside that we'll be sure to hit on. Same can be said for Yahoo. A lot of good expensive pitchers we want to pay up for. We'll look at DraftKings and Yahoo's pricing, talk about pitchers, start off there. Then we'll look at some hitters that I really like. We'll talk about some stacks that I'll be going to as well. And then towards the end of the video, we will cover some BVP plays as well, for those of you interested in BVP. But before we do get started, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button down below, so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. So we'll start off at the top. Pitching today on DraftKings, Trevor Bauer, the most expensive option. He's $11,400, gets a matchup against the Blue Jays. If we go over to Yahoo and look at their pricing, Chris Sale is actually the most expensive pitcher at $59, and Trevor Bauer, who we'll talk about a lot on Yahoo, is the 5th most expensive pitcher at $49. He's really cheap on Yahoo. So kind of pricing plays a big role today on how I'm going to be going at pitcher. On DraftKings, I think the guy that I really like is Chris Sale, given the fact that he's $11K. He's cheaper than Bauer. He's very similarly priced to guys like Strasburg and Paddock and Nola. I think Sale probably has the highest projection, if not the highest projection, of any pitcher on this slate. Really good matchup for him facing Tampa Bay in Tropicana Field. Tropicana Field, where the Rays play, is one of the more favorable pitchers' parks. It's a Rays team that will strike out versus left-handed pitching. You can definitely get some Ks from this Rays lineup. They do have a very low total today at 3.4 implied runs. And we know how good Chris Sale is, how dominant he is. His last start against the Blue Jays was very dominant. 6 innings, only allowed 2 hits, 2 walks, 12 strikeouts, 39 DraftKings points. Sale has that kind of upside here against this Rays team. So I do like paying up for him today. There are some good mid-tier pitchers I like that you can pair with an expensive pitcher, whether it's Sale or Strasburg or Bauer. There's also some value stacks that I like as well, value hitters that I'm going to be going to. So on DraftKings, I think Sale's going to be the guy that I look to the most. But I did mention Trevor Bauer on Yahoo. I really like him over here at $49. He really stands out. Same could be said for Chris Paddock at $44. Both of those guys feel a little bit underpriced compared to like Sale at $59, Strasburg at $52. I really like Bauer though at $49 on Yahoo. Just feels way too cheap here. He should be very similarly priced to Chris Sale, and the fact that he's $10 cheaper than Sale makes me have a lot of interest in Bauer. I do think Sale will probably be my highest projected pitcher today, but Bauer will be closely behind him. Given the savings on Yahoo, I would just rather play Bauer. It gets me a little bit more bats. We obviously know Bauer is an elite pitcher as well, has a lot of strikeout upside. He's going to pitch very deep into the game, something he does every start, 115, 120 pitches, pretty much every start for Bauer. If he's pitching well, he'll go that deep. So it is a good matchup for him against a Blue Jays team that will strike out versus right-handed pitching. I did have some interest in Clevenger on Monday's slate. Not as much interest as I had in Cole. Same could be said here, like on DraftKings. I do have some interest in Bauer, but a lot more interest in Sale for cheaper. On Yahoo, that's where I really like Bauer, where he's $10 less than Chris Sale. But I think that's it for SP1. Like paying up, I would rank him probably on DraftKings. Sale number 1, Bauer 2, Strasburg 3, Paddock 4, and then Nola 5 against Detroit. On Yahoo, I would probably rank them Bauer 1, Paddock 2, Strasburg 3, Sale 4. I don't know if I'm going to be getting all the way up to Chris Sale at $59, just because that's a really expensive price tag. And when you have similarly projected players for a lot cheaper, like Strasburg for $7 less, Nola for $9 less, Bauer for $10 less, Paddock for $15 less, just don't think I need to pay all the way up for Sale on Yahoo today. But let's talk about some of these mid-tier and value pitchers that we can look to pair with our expensive guy. So I know it's going to be hard to pair like a 9K pitcher with Sale, but if you want to play one of these 9K guys as your SP1, or if you're getting a really cheap stack in there, Caleb Smith against the White Sox I do like quite a bit at $9,400. Yu Darvish is in a very favorable spot against the Giants at $9,200. I really want to talk about Yu Darvish though on Yahoo. He really stands out as only $39. He's the same price as Yanni Chirinos. He's cheaper than Dallas Keuchel. He's cheaper than Merrill Kelly. He's cheaper than Chris Archer. Really like Darvish as an SP2 play on Yahoo. If you play Bauer and Darvish together, you're still left with $14 remaining per player, which you can easily work around on today's slate. So I'm going to be going to a lot of Darvish on Yahoo. If I find a really cheap stack that I like, then maybe I'll be able to play Sale and Darvish together, but I expect Darvish will be more of a priority for me over on Yahoo. You could definitely play him, though, at 9,200 on DraftKings, just not as interesting given that he is kind of priced up. But looking for guys that we can play with Sale and still fit in bats we want, we got to look to this 7K range. And there is a guy here that I really like, Chris Archer at 7,500 against the Cardinals. I think is a very favorable play today. So he's going to be facing a pretty watered-down Cardinals lineup. Right now they have no Matt Carpenter, no Marcell Ozuna, and no Yadier Molina. So it's a pretty watered-down lineup. You can get some strikeouts in this lineup versus right-handed pitching. Chris Archer is better versus righties, and this Cardinals lineup is pretty right-handed heavy. Only lefties in there are going to be Edman, Fowler, Wong, and Matt Wieters. A couple of those guys I'm not really worried about. Like Edman doesn't strike out much, but he's really not that great of a hitter. Same could be said for Dexter Fowler. Colton Wong's not that good of a hitter. Same could be said for Matt Wieters as well. And then the righties you can get some strikeouts from. You can get some Ks from Jose Martinez, from Tyler O'Neill, from Paul DeJong. So I think Archer gives you some upside at 7,500. You pair him and Sale together, that still leaves you almost 4K remaining per player for your bats, which you can definitely work around. For what it's worth, Archer's been good this year against the Cardinals. Through 2 games, he's averaged 21 DraftKings points against them. Really good spot for him. He's in a very favorable pitcher's park at home in Pittsburgh. Just really like Archer here. Pretty good pitching weather as well. Low total for the Cardinals. He just sets up as one of the better mid-tier SB2s that you can look to today. You do have Merrill Kelly against the Orioles for 200 less. Definitely a guy you could consider if you want to play Archer or play Kelly over Archer. I obviously wouldn't mind that, but I do prefer Archer. Just 1v1 situation. But then once we get 7K and below and we're looking for some very cheap value, there's not much that I really like. Like maybe you could go to a Dakota Hudson against the Pirates at only 6,500. He could potentially be a value, but not really much I see here that I really want to consider. I feel like a lot of my builds today are going to include one of the expensive pitchers and then a guy like Kelly or Archer, or I'll have like some cheap stacks I like with 2 expensive pitchers. That's probably where I'm going to be going at pitching today. But now let's talk about some hitters. I do want to talk about the Padres. They are a team that I think is going to go pretty overlooked today. They have a very low total today, just a 4.5 implied run total. But Jason Vargas is always a guy that I look to stack against. I just don't think he's that good of a pitcher. He gives up home runs to righties. And this Padres lineup versus left-handed pitching has a ton of power. Tatis, Machado, Renfroe, Reyes all have power. Margot doesn't have a ton of power, but he has some speed. He can steal bases if he gets on base and just gives you upside that way. And looking at DraftKings pricing, these guys are pretty cheap. Like Franmil Reyes has a ton of power against lefties, and he's only 3,900. Manny Machado really stands out at only 4,600. Very surprising that he's like 4,600 and then Tatis is 5,400. I was expecting Machado to be up there towards 5K given the matchup with Vargas, but on Yahoo on DraftKings I really like him at 4,600. On Yahoo I don't expect him to get really any ownership because he's very expensive at $25. But I'm still going to be trying to pay up for Machado on Yahoo in the lineups where I can fit him in because I think he just has so much upside here against Vargas. Like I said, Machado a great hitter. We obviously know Vargas gives up a lot of power to righties. He's given up, I'm pretty sure, in his last 4 starts, he's given up a home run in every start. He gives up home run to both sides of the plate, but obviously more to righties than to lefties. The righties are where you're going to want to look to attack Vargas. So love Manny Machado today, one of my favorite plays. Also, think you can get some value from the Padres. Franmil Reyes, I mentioned, has a ton of power versus lefties and is dirt cheap on DraftKings at 3,900. I think he's a very good value option if you're looking to stack the Padres. On Yahoo, you can definitely consider Franmil Reyes as well. He's, I believe, $14. But Hunter Renfroe is closely priced to Franmil Reyes. Renfroe's $16. Reyes is $14. I think I just try and find the $2 to get up to Renfroe because I think Renfroe's probably the better projected play, and they are closely priced on Yahoo. On DraftKings, there's a bit more of a salary gap. Reyes is $3,900, and Renfroe is $4,500, $600 difference. You can obviously roster both guys. If you're stacking the Padres, you probably want to roster both guys, which I'll be doing a lot of. But I do like Reyes a lot, given his salary on DraftKings and given the salary of Renfroe on Yahoo. He's a guy that I'm going to be going to a lot. Then a value player I like, not necessarily going to be stacking the Marlins, but Curtis Granderson leading off against Dylan Covey at only 3,500 on DraftKings, and also very cheap on Yahoo at $9. I think is a pretty good value here. So the Marlins actually do have somewhat of a high total today. Right now their implied run total is at 5.1 runs, which is something we usually don't see. Usually the Marlins never get a total this high. They're facing Dylan Covey, who's just been terrible this year. He's made a couple starts, and he's also made some appearances out of the bullpen. I believe his last start was against the Nationals. He gave up 7 hits, 2 runs, got 4 strikeouts through 5 innings. Wasn't that great of a start. I think he's made a couple other starts this year. Hasn't really been that good. Coming out of the bullpen, he hasn't been that great either. He's facing the Marlins, so obviously he's playable at 4,600. I think you can definitely roster Dylan Covey on DraftKings if you want to pay up for expensive bats, especially if he's fully stretched out. But I do like rostering some of these cheap Marlins hitters. Granderson at 3,500, Neil Walker at 3,600, Castro at 3,700. If you're looking for a value like mini stack 2 or 3 man, I think you can definitely consider some of these Marlins bats. Granderson at this point in his career doesn't have much power, but he's dirt cheap. He's leading off. He's facing a bad pitcher. He does stand out as a good value option if you're looking for a cheap outfielder. But anyways, these are my 5 plays for DraftKings and for Yahoo today, guys. Now let's go ahead and talk about some stacks real quick. Then we'll look at some BVP plays before we end the video. So my favorite stack today is going to be the Padres. They have a low total. They're probably going to be low owned. Not many people are going to look to them because of their implied run total. But I think they just have so much upside here versus Jason Vargas. Vargas is not a guy I believe in. I know he's been better lately, but just don't buy into it. Love the Padres here. Love the power that this lineup has. The 1 through 5, that 5-man stack is probably going to be one of my highest owned stacks today. So love the Padres. Some other teams, though, definitely want to consider, like the Indians against Aaron Sanchez. 5.5 implied run total. We know how bad Aaron Sanchez has been this year, and the Indians really aren't that expensive. Only one hitter is 5K and above, and that's Mercado. Everyone else is under 5K. You got Kipnis at 3,600, Bowers at 3,500. You could probably fit in an expensive pitcher and stack the Indians, who have a lot of upside. So definitely want to look to some Indians bats as well. But then some other stacks we could consider. I think some Braves against Dallas Keuchel makes some sense. It's not a cheap stack. You're going to have to pay for these guys, but you can get some value with like Swanson at 4,400. Ozzie Albies is only 4,400. Riley's 4,300. Tyler Flowers, a cheap catcher. We know how good the Braves are as a team. They don't strike out much. They're going to put the ball in play. Denny Duffy, obviously like a mediocre pitcher at best, so you can definitely look to some Braves bats as well. But I think that's probably it for stacks for me. I'm going to be really focused on a couple teams today. I don't think I'm going to be targeting a ton of different stacks, even though it is a 15-game slate. I'm really going to be focusing my stack ownership on just a few teams and then kind of going from there. But now let's talk about some BVP real quick before we end the video. So we got some BVP plays, a couple of them. I'm just going to hit on the ones that really stand out to me. So Charlie Blackmon's gone 7 for 17 with a home run off of Steven Strasburg. Ian Kinsler has pretty good BVP off of Jason Vargas, 25 for 67 with 2 home runs. Derek Dietrich, 4 for 11 with 2 home runs off of Zach Davies. Joey Votto, 10 for 27 with the home run off of Davies. Edwin Encarnacion, 10 for 33 with 4 home runs off Kyle Gibson. And then lastly, down here at the bottom, Kyle Seager gone 6 for 26 with 2 home runs off Jesse Chavez. So those are just a couple of BVP plays for today, guys. I think that is it for this video. Hopefully you did enjoy this video, and hopefully it did help you. If you enjoyed the video, just make sure you click that like button down below, and make sure you subscribe if you have not already. And if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below, or like always, you can hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT if you do have any questions. But I think that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you in the next one. Good luck tonight. Peace.